So, it is that time of year again. It is time for final major project. So, every year it rolls round on the college course, you've got final major project, you have got a couple of months to put together a piece of work which you can submit to the awarding body as your final major project. And for me this year, it's going to be an experiment in community-based marketing. And I basically wanted to experiment with the idea that using a community and the sort of word-of-mouth, bottom-up approach is effective for building a sustainable audience. And I'm going to be doing lots of different things over the course of the next month or two, and you're going to be seeing it all on here. I'm going to be using my vlogs as a way to sort of evaluate what's going on and give you a little bit behind the scenes to show some of the production process and what actually goes into the production of my final major project. The clip that I've got lined up next is a recording of my pitch, which I did. The pitch is basically me explaining all about what my FMP is going to be, what I'm going to be doing for it, how I'm going to go about doing that, and where it's going to be released. So, yeah, the next month or so, or month to 2 months, I think. The deadline's the 28th of May. So between now and the 28th of May, you're going to be seeing a lot of focused evaluations, explanations of what I'm doing, how I'm going about it. And you'll also be seeing a lot behind the scenes for me creating my FMP. So I hope you enjoy, and fair warning, the video clip of me recording my pitch wasn't recorded on a mic, so the audio is amateur, should we say amateur, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to sharing my FMP with you over the coming weeks and months. Hi there guys, so this is my presentation for my FMP. This is what my FMP is going to be about, and my FMP is an experiment in community-based marketing. So I'm setting out to answer a specific question, which is, it's basically, I want to answer, I've got a hypothesis around community marketing, and I want to conduct some experiments to see if my hypothesis is true or not. So the hypothesis is community marketing / bottom-up development is an effective strategy when trying to build a sustainable audience base. Now, I underline sustainable purely because that's specifically what I'm looking at here, as in you can use a million different forms of marketing to gather an audience, but there's a difference between an audience which stays for 2 minutes because you're on their feed and an audience which sticks around and is actually invested in the work. And I think that the topic's relevant to the course purely because it employs a lot of stuff that we studied earlier on in the year and helps develop those ideas and sort of build off the information that's already been presented and I've already been working on throughout the year. So what's the purpose of my FMP? I'm trying to establish whether bottom-up marketing will work in raising awareness of me, right? My personal brand, my photography, my services as a business. I'm trying to establish whether bottom-up marketing is, first of all, an effective way to do that, and whether it's the best way to do that. So I want to put my beliefs to the test, because I personally believe that bottom-up marketing is a more sustainable way of creating something. For all those who did geography, and they talk about top-down, where you sort of trickle down from the top and hope that the benefits reach people at the ground level. I want to try and build a following and an audience from the ground up, and hopefully it will have a stronger foundation as a result. So, as I just explained, bottom-up marketing is mainly just starting from the roots. It's usually employed by things like charities and not-for-profit organisations when they are trying to build sustainable change. That's where you see it employed the most. So rather than say a country is lacking infrastructure and basic things like running water, filtration, sewage systems, all that sort of stuff. There are two ways in which you could help them. There is the first one, where you could give lots of money to the government and hope that that money from the government reaches all the smaller communities below, so that trickle down effect. Or the bottom up approach is to go into individual communities, work with people, and try and say the problem was running water, you build a well, rather than just sending the government a bunch of water bottles and hoping that they made their way to the smaller villages. It's about trying to do things from the ground up. So how do I intend to conduct my research? I've basically come up with three strategies that I'm going to employ to test the effectiveness of community marketing. The first is something I've done before, so it's kind of tried and tested, which is offering portrait work at a reduced rate to anybody, and the only sort of condition for that is that when they post my work on their pages, they tag me, they give me credit, and then their audience sees my name and associates that with my photography. The second strategy, which I'm going to try, is spending a little bit of money on leaflets, stickers, business cards, those sorts of flyers, and just little bits of advertising that you may or may not see sprinkled around the local community. And the third is going to be partnering with local brands and businesses to capitalize on a pre-existing audience and employ something called synergy. Synergy is where you take two things and, what's the best way to describe it? And they collaborate together and they build something jointly. So like an example of synergy in marketing could be, there was a Skepta and a Rolls-Royce campaign. So Rolls-Royce, the car company, and Skepta, the grime MC, partnered up for a marketing campaign, and that's an example of synergy. So specifically with the portrait work is very popular on social media. Social media is a lot about people's faces. A lot of people are on social media just to promote themselves and their lives, not necessarily their businesses, but just their lives, what they get up to, and also an image of themselves that they want represented to a large number of people. And by me taking the photos and putting them on their pages, it offers them the benefit of having professional photos for their page, and photos which hopefully they believe that they look good in, that they're happy with the way their image is represented and communicated. And then I in turn benefit from being exposed to potential audience members who aren't already familiar with my work. And then what I would do to see if this was effective would be track the analytical information. So on the day that they post my photo on their page, I look to see how many people are visiting my profile on that day, and adjusting for variables and anomalies. You can then start to try and predict a trend if you do it on multiple occasions to make sure that, say you did it one day, you got to make sure it's not a fluke. So the leaflet, stickers and business cards is just a case of spreading my work amongst the community. So there are things that go along with increasing engagement, but the main thing is that people have got to know about you to engage with you. So this is an example of me using the community, and potentially, say I put leaflets through people's doors, it might be, oh, did you get one of those leaflets from that photographer? Or if I put my business card into shops and that sort of stuff, they might, in the back of their mind, because they got a business card from me, they might, next time they're thinking about getting some photos of their business they're like, I swear there was that one guy who does photography. And then it's like, it's inserting myself and my image into their minds so that they can sort of
associate me with what I do and hopefully see it as a benefit to their business as well. I'm going to, specifically around the leaflet stickers and business cards, I'm going to need to design this, so I'm going to need things like a logo, a brand image, something which is uniform across all sets of the stickers, business cards and leaflets, is that it's clear no matter which variation of it you get that it's me, and that's, yeah. And then collaborating with other brands and businesses. This one is fairly self-explanatory. Like I said, with the synergy, it's mainly about building off the two pre-existing audiences and followings, and hopefully trying to mutually benefit, the other brand and the business. And I receive exposure, and they receive exposure, and it hopefully plays in together. So this would mainly look like putting out content on someone else's YouTube channel or featuring on somebody else's Instagram. And the days, once again, similar to the portrait work, the days that those pieces of content go out, I then take a look and see what the profile visits look like on my page. And then I can start to see if there's a correlation between collaborating with others, being seen and featured in other places than what I'd usually be at, and see if I get more profile visits as a result. So who's going to benefit from my research? My FMP is meant to benefit me. As in, the reason why I'm conducting this experiment is because I have a belief that bottom-up or community-based marketing is an effective strategy, but I don't actually know whether it is. So I'm conducting this experiment and I'm conducting my research to benefit myself, to answer a question for myself. But it may also be that other people have a similar question. They might think to themselves, they might have a small business, for example, or they're trying to get a business started online, and they're thinking, what is the best way to reach people? Do I just pay some money to the platform and get them to push my content, or do I try and push my own content? And which direction do I want to push it in? So as much as my FMP is for me and for answering questions that I'm curious about, other people who have similar questions might also be able to benefit and draw some value from it. So what format will be used to display my research? So I'm not the type to draw graphs. I'm someone who very much is a visual learner, and I'm visual and audio. I'm not a huge fan of copying things down and that sort of stuff. So throughout all of my research, I'm going to be using video logs or vlogs to reflect on the process and also try and display the process, because sometimes when you're talking about something after it's happened, you might forget certain aspects of what happened and you might not carry the information across. So for me, I know that I can do this quite often. So what I'm going to try and do by capturing it in sort of vlog format, I hope to avoid forgetting to communicate any necessary pieces of information, and I hope to display as much as possible so that when it comes along to marking my FMP, the moderators are spoiled with the amount of information that they have. And it's, I don't want to go quantity over quality, but it will help for me to have as many examples as possible of my work, of the way that I evaluate my work, of the production process, what that looks like. And the behind the scenes element of the vlogs should help, display that. That's it. That's everything. That's my pitch.
So there you have it. Any feedback that you could leave me on my pitch would be fantastic, purely because I can use all that feedback in evaluating and for the purposes of the course. So head down to the comments, let me know what you thought of the pitch, and literally any feedback actually really helps me in terms of the evaluation process. And yeah, I want to put my focus into collaborating with others, spreading the message out there, and seeing what that looks like and capturing what that looks like. as just an ongoing part of the journey. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you made it to the end, well done. But yeah, I look forward to sharing it all with you, and I'll see you in the next one.